Hi there, this is Catherine. Thanks you for listening to my SEO Tips micro podcast. So, before we get into today's SEO tip, I just wanted to share with you the ways you can support the podcast if you're enjoying all the tips and finding them useful. So, you can send me a donation at buymeacoffee.com/Catherine W. Ong, O-N-G, and that's Catherine with a K. Any and all levels of donation are appreciated. It will help me offset the cost of producing the podcast. So, that's buymeacoffee.com/Katherinewong. I'd also encourage you to subscribe to our email list to make sure you're not missing any future episodes or any other news about the SEO Tips podcast. And to do that, you'd go to wostrategies.com/newsletter. Okay, on with today's tip. Let's talk about the page experience update and how to measure, audit, and improve the metrics you get. So page experience and performance, which is measured by the upcoming Core Web Vitals, that will be a ranking factor in May of 2021. And I've been collecting a bunch of resources on how you can go about figuring out what your current score is, how to measure it in some sort of ongoing way, and how to create an improvement plan. So there's a really great presentation from Rachel Costello. She gave a presentation at the SEO Nerds Switzerland meetup. Yay, COVID and being able to attend something in Switzerland from the US. But anyway, I have a link to the deck and the recording on my site. But ultimately, her tips include the following. It has a list of all the areas in her presentation that you should check and add to your audit, and the tools that you need to check those items. And she also mentions, by the way, URL Profiler, which you can use to query the mobile-friendly test API and Google's Safe Browsing API at scale, which I thought was interesting. And as you're digging into solutions to improve your Core Web Vitals, it's possible that loading CSS asynchronously might help. I have a 411 about that, also on my website. There's also a really great article on Search Engine Land that walks you through finding improvement recommendations. Also have a link to that. And if you're looking for how to set up some tools and how to persuade others, there's actually a Excel sheet that Alita Solis has put together that will help you measure. And she's also compilated all of the case studies to convince other people to take those metrics seriously. You can also benchmark your site against your competitors if you think that would help. The tool to do that is called Core SERP's Vitals tool. It's over at deface.dev, and you can actually see Core Web Vital scores directly in search results for people you're competing with in search. You can also push your Core Web Vitals into your Google Analytics via GTM. The code on that is on GitHub. I also have a link on my site. And then you can use a Google Data Studio dashboard pulling through your GA data to report on it. Also, if you're on WordPress, there's a plugin to make it even easier. You can also use Screaming Frog's PageSpeed Insights to track performance on your staging server before launching or your live server, but it will actually check all of the various things that are being used in Core Web Vitals. Won't give you the score per se, but it will tell you things that you need to fix on particular URLs. You can also spot check using GTmetrix because that now has Core Web Vitals included because it's now powered by Google Lighthouse. So those are your tips for today about Core Web Vitals and how to get started measuring and auditing and convincing other people that they need to care. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow for another SEO tip.